All right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. Another episode, another couple days. It is day number 31, and I just got dropped off at the top of Mount Washington. Got a ride up. They have a hiker van service from the auto road, and y'all, it is unfreaking believable. The skies have opened up. The clouds are parting, and I cannot even describe to you the view in front of me. I am working my way down today from Mount Washington to Madison Spring Hut or Madison Hut. It is a 5.7 mile hike of gloriousness, known as the best hike in the White Mountains. You are all above tree line the entire way, and I will not go below tree line until tomorrow when I go up over Madison Mountain and down to the reroute and then the 19-mile Brook Trailhead where Stephanie is going to pick me up tomorrow. So I've got today 5.7. I think tomorrow is 6.1. And then this section will be done. And then all I have to do is go back to Zeta Pass and work my way north to Gorham. And we are going to make that happen. And y'all, I am literally going over the Cog Railroad train right now. And I am stopping as we speak. And I am going to take a picture, because y'all are not going to believe what this looks like. Fantastic. I have been putting up my photos and any shorts or clips that I have over on my YouTube, but I have said that 1,000 times now, and you all know that. So if you want to see any of this beautiful footage or clips, you can go on over to my YouTube. I'm randomly putting stuff out on Instagram, but just a one-stop shop over on YouTube. Anyway, y'all, I could literally see the hut. This is like a Sound of Music kind of thing. The hills are alive, and I am going to enjoy this trek, this 5.7 miles, less than that now, probably around 5. Because I am a good ways down from Mount Washington, and it's just almost like I have no words. I am so glad, so glad that I decided to come off of Mount Washington the other day, have the wherewithal to make the decision that, yes, everything is going to be okay. You're going to get up here when it's sunny. And I don't know when I'm going to be up here again. So this hike in particular, there was no way I was not going to do this in the sunshine. And that is the freedom and beauty of how I hike, because there are no have-tos in this situation. When I teach high school, I had a principal a long time ago. He always gave the same speech when it was time for registration for the students to register for their classes. And he always said, there are courses that you have to take in high school, and there are courses that you get to take in high school. So be very, very selective on the courses that you get to do. And I'm reminding myself that I get to do this hike. I don't have to do this hike. I don't have to complete the trail, the Appalachian Trail, for a second time. And we're just reworking our mindset back to, this is something that is not a have to, but when you get to, make it glorious, make it a good day, and go from there. So I am going to stop my rambling because I want to enjoy every single second of this glorious day, and I will be back. All right, y'all, I am back. I've got about a mile until I get to the Madison Hut, and all I can say is today has been one of the most fantastic days I have ever had on trail. Just the views. Now, the footing and the hiking is tough. It's just rocks and rocks and rocks, and you feel like you're playing Tetris and Frogger at the same time with all the rocks. There's literally no footpath. It's just rocks. But the views, the clouds swooping in, being out of tree line, and I don't know if this is what Mars is like, but I'm feeling it. And this is the day I was hoping for, and quite honestly waiting for, and we got it. So I am totally excited, and you kind of have to do like I'm doing right now. Assess the rocks and where you got to put your foot, and hopefully you're not going to slide down. And the rocks have really, really good grip, and they're very dry, which I'm very happy for. And I am so glad I changed what I had to do. I just can't even describe it. I'm telling y'all, it's like the sound of music is all I can think. And I look ahead right now and I can see people coming down the trail, and like a line of people coming down. And I'm sure that's what we look like from behind as well for people that are behind me. And everybody is just so happy who is up here, doing, this is the presidentials. Basically, you can go up and over many, many presidential mountains. They're right off the AT, up and over, and on this beautiful day, you can see them all. And, but I'm just sticking to the AT. That is good enough for me. And, moving right along. So wanted to come back on and tell you all it is still a glorious day. The clouds have been swooping in and out, and I've been able to get a glance of the hut as well. So when I can start seeing the hut, that is when I know I am getting close. And this is my last hut stay. Tomorrow I will have breakfast, get up in the morning, and head on down to the reroute to the 19-mile Brook Trailhead. And I think I'm going to take the next day off. And Stephanie and I are going to do some recon right at the beginning of Maine on where I might be able to get onto the AT and do some more day hiking and yada yada. So, and going back over and up and taking care of Zeta Pass down to US 2, but I'm not going to worry about that now. I'm going to continue to enjoy my day, and I'll either be back later this afternoon, early evening, or in the morning as I head out to go up and over Madison. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. Day number 32. I am already down, I don't know, about a little under 2 miles from Mount Madison. So had a great stay at the hut last night, got to Madison. And of course, I mean, literally my goal was to be there by 2. And I got there maybe like 2:01. At about 2:10, it opened up and started pouring like crazy. And there were people all over the mountains, so they were running into the hut, getting dry, trying to do their thing. And oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, that's all I can say is I am so grateful and thankful that was not me. And I've had enough about enough of that. So fantastic day yesterday, as you all heard in my final recording for the day. Y'all wouldn't believe me if I told you I am literally sitting on a log, holding onto the log, trying not to fall down this steep trail. So anyway, had a great time at the hut last night. Slept okay. I don't know why. I have no reason. It was pretty quiet for a hut, so I don't know. Just one of those things. And had breakfast this morning, and then I left after breakfast. I knew I was going to have to climb Madison, and it was everything I remembered, and then way more than I remembered. So climbing Madison, it does get kind of tricky toward the top. And thank God for a clear day, because you do have to follow the cairns or the cairns. I don't know if they're cairns or cairns. Somebody tell me. I think it depends on where you live. And it was 1.6 miles up and down Madison, boulder field after boulder field, until I got to tree line, and I am in the tree line now. I've never been so glad to see a trees in my life. And very thankful, but this is steep as well. So looking at the trail before me, it's pretty steep. It's wet because last night was very wet, and having to pretty much calculate every single step because in between the rocks, you got pine needles, and those are very slippery when it's wet. So had a great time. And this morning, I want to give a shout out to, oh my gosh, I forgot her trail name. Anyway, maybe it'll come to me. Lucky Dawn. That's it. Not Lucky 9, Lucky Dawn. Anyway, I think it's Lucky Dawn. Please forgive me if you're listening to this. So this morning, I saw a table with only 4 place settings, and a lady sitting there. So I walked over and I was like, hey, do you have 4 in your party, or do you mind if I sit with you all for breakfast? And Lucky 9, not Lucky Dawn. Oh my God, Lucky 9. So sorry about that. And I'm going down this steep hill. You'll have to forgive me. Anyway, we start talking, and she's like, oh, you're the podcaster. And it always embarrasses me when people say, not embarrasses, but I don't go around saying, hey, I'm a podcaster. You know, like most people don't go around and say, oh, I'm a YouTuber. It's just kind of one of those things. So she was like, I heard you say your name was Jester last night, and, you know, you were talking to some people, and you know how things go. She didn't want to interrupt, and I was like, please, you should have come over last night. We could have played cards or something, but she was like, nope, I just wanted it to unfold if it was supposed to, you know, didn't want to interrupt you talking to people. But anyway, we had an awesome conversation this morning. We talked about hiking. We talked about hard hiking, like here in the Whites. Last summer, she went to the Adirondacks, and she was like, oh, hell no to the Adirondacks. And I was like, I'm right there with you, sister. That stuff is tough. I said, those people hiking the Adirondacks, they're tough and crazy. And I know several. And they are tough and crazy and wonderful people. But it's just a different level of hiking, peak bagging, pretty much. And anyway, love you all, my Adirondack folks. It's just not for everybody. But anyway, yeah, so we had a good breakfast conversation. Mother's Day present. She was there with her 2 daughters, and they went up and peaked Madison this morning, and she is out section hiking the Appalachian Trail. I think she's made it to Harper's Ferry, which is awesome. And any miles on this trail is like so cool, because it's all just so hard. It all has its unique qualities. And, you know, I told her several times over the last, you know, days, weeks, I feel like I've been in the Whites for months. I've questioned my choices and, you know, kind of what I'm doing, and do I need to be out here doing this again? You know, and I'm still thinking through that. And I told her, you know, everything looks good on paper, like I discussed yesterday. Y'all, now I'm straddling a log. I'm not kidding. And almost went over face forward, but I don't want to do that. Anyway, all right, over the log. The good news is my mic is hands-free, so I just have it attached to my shirt. and I can hike. So anyway, we were just talking about various things, and we were talking about gear, and she was asking me about my tent, and I was like, well, I had a Durston, and she's like, I did the same thing, sold the Durston. I like my freestanding tent. So certain things aren't for everybody, and I love it. We had a great conversation. So Lucky 9, reach out to me, send me an email, Jester@jestersectionhiker.com. Let's connect and chat more, because I really enjoyed chatting with you this morning. So there you have it, folks. Today's a 6.1 mile day, all straight down. If you looked at far out, you would think I had a crazy heart attack this morning. And I am going to what's called the Osgood turnoff. And traditionally, the AT makes a right and heads toward Pinkham Notch. But if you guys will remember, I am taking the reroute, so I'm going to continue on Golf something trail. I'll look it up. Anyway, I'm less than a mile from that turnoff where that bridge is out and why they've rerouted the trail. So I am going to continue to work my way down. I do have some stories I want to tell you guys, so I do not forget. And so I'll be back for story time. All right, y'all, I am back for some story time, because I don't want to forget these people interactions. The first one is from a few days back. When I was at the Lake of the Clouds hut, I was sitting there the morning of breakfast, right before breakfast, just having some coffee, talking to some guys. And one of the guys I was talking to, he's out doing a big section hike, but he was going southbound. And he said, well, what is your name? And I said, well, Julie, or my trail name is Jester. And he's like, wait a minute, the podcast Jester? The Allegheny Trail podcast Jester? And I said, yeah, that's me. He's like, with Justin and Nicole? I said, yeah, that's me. And I think his name is Mark. So shout out to Mark. Hopefully you are continuing to do well on your hike. And I think he was out just trying to get in as much as he could in the time that he had. So that was cool to meet him. And the second story time is from the previous episode. I shared with you all about this lady named Sailor. And then after I met her, I stayed at the Lake of the Clouds hut. And then that next day, not Lake of the Clouds, Carter Notch hut. And then that next day, I came out at Zeta Pass and then decided to, take a day off. So what was really cool is, see, with the trail, you just never know when you might run back into somebody again. So we were out running errands and decided to go to Verizon, because the day of the deluge that I decided to come out Zeta Pass, my backup battery, my anchor, got waterlogged and pretty much died. And I saw a Verizon. I said, well, I bet Verizon has battery packs, battery backup anchors, or whatever they are. And I need a 10,000 milliamp. So I walk in there and I'm looking around and I see all the battery banks, and I'm just sitting there looking at them. And all of a sudden I hear Jester, and it was Sailor. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing in here? And she was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I saw you. I am not doing good. And I said, well, what is it? Let's fix it. And somewhere coming down into Gorham, she dropped her phone in a stream and actually had to go in the stream and get the phone. And she said she was up to her neck. And I bet Sailor is 5'1", something like that. And she said, oh my God, it was awful. And she had a pink little piece of duct tape on her phone case. That's the only way she saw her phone. So she had been in Verizon that morning, even before I saw her, for 3 hours, trying to get her phone taken care of, all her passwords, all the things when you get a new phone. It's like a pain in the butt, and you can't go without a phone because you need your far out, you just need your phone. And so ended up giving her a ride back to the barn. Yeah, the barn hostel. And I think it's a bed and breakfast and a hostel. They had the Libby house, the barn, something like that. And she was like, if you guys want to go out for coffee later or whatever, give me a ring. So we went ahead and ran the rest of our errands and was chilling out and decided to go have a late lunch. And so I texted her and said, hey, we'll come pick you back up if you want to go to a late lunch. And she was like, absolutely. So we ended up going to a barbecue restaurant, and probably sat there a couple hours eating, chatting, talking trail, and just learning about each other and just chilling out, having great conversation. And took her back to the Libby house, and I am sure she is well on her way. She's probably in Maine by now, because once you leave out of Gorham, most thru hikers are in Maine in a day or a day and a half. So I just wanted to share that. Really cool. You guys know how it is out here on the AT. You get an opportunity to meet some really cool people, and if you can have really good conversation, that's even better. And typically your conversation, it has nothing to do with the trail. You're just talking about life and commonalities, and I learned a lot about sailing from her and her life out on her sailboat and all the things. So, but I think I will round out the episode here with a little bit of storytelling. I think these 2 days make a good enough episode. Once I get down off of the reroute, I'm going to take tomorrow off. Another day off, I know, because my knees are like, screaming at me. And I just want to take another day off because I felt so good after the first day off. These past 2 days are rough. So a lot of downhill, a lot of rock hopping, a lot of this, that, the other, and it takes a toll on you. And for those of you that have been through the whites, you know the deal. So anyway, y'all, I truly appreciate it. Yesterday, day 31. Today, day 32. Tomorrow, day 33. Day off. Thanks again. I'm just standing here getting my breath. Thanks again for listening. Beautiful birds. Be safe out there, and happy section hiking.